This is Rummy's Corner. Coming up on April 9th from Saitama, Japan, in a bout that will be televised on the relatively new streaming app service known as DAZN, IBF middleweight champion Gennady Golovkin will square off in a unification bout against WBA super duper middleweight champion Ryota Murata. When I first heard about this one, I initially jumped to the conclusion that Triple G should win. But the more I think about it, I'm not so sure. I actually think this one could wind up being a very good matchup, and I think Murata might just have what it takes to win this middleweight unification showdown. Both of these guys are on short winning streaks after suffering a loss. After losing his rematch against Canelo Alvarez back in September 2018, Triple G has won 3 in a row. In June 2019, he stopped Steve Rolls in round 4. In October 2019, Golovkin won a very close and competitive 12-round unanimous decision against Sergey Derevyanchenko to win the vacant IBF belt. Then in December 2020, Golovkin scored a 7th-round stoppage against Kamil Sharameta, whom he dropped several times along the way. For Murata, back in October 2018, he lost the regular WBA title after dropping a lopsided 12-round unanimous decision against Rob Brandt. In July 2019, Murata avenged that loss when he overpowered Brandt and stopped him in round 2 to regain the regular WBA title. Then in December 2019, Murata defended that belt when he stopped Stephen Butler in round 5. That was the last time Murata fought, and it will have been a prolonged 28-month stretch of inactivity for him come fight night. In January 2021, Murata was promoted by the WBA, who now recognized him as their super-duper middleweight champion. Golovkin will have just turned 40 the day before the fight, so Triple G is no spring chicken. But despite his age, Golovkin remains an elite middleweight. Triple G is a very smart fighter. He's a highly skilled boxer with an excellent jab, strong punching power, a solid chin, and he has incredible fighting instinct. If you look at the guys who gave Golovkin the most difficulty in his career, guys like Canelo Alvarez, Daniel Jacobs, and most recently I would say Derevyanchenko also fits the bill. The one thing all of these guys had in common is that they were smart technical boxers, all of whom were a little quicker than Golovkin. Triple G was never known for being a speed demon, but that's not to say he's slow, even if he's a bit slower now than he was in his prime. And then even a guy like Kell Brook, he had some moments of success against Golovkin, and he too is a smart technical boxer who was quicker than Gennady. Murata is 36 years old, so he's no spring chicken either. Murata officially has 2 career losses, and he avenged both of those. His first loss, which was a very controversial decision loss, happened against Endom in May 2017. He avenged that loss later that year when he won by 7th round stoppage. And then there was the Brandt rivalry, where Brandt basically outworked and out-hustled Murata. Brandt threw a ton of punches and basically wore Murata down. In the rematch, Murata simply went right after Brandt and overpowered him. In a lot of ways, Murata fits the mold of the type of guys who have been able to give Golovkin some trouble. Murata is a smart fighter, and he has a very good jab and good all-around boxing skills, with a big right hand and a proven ability to dig downstairs. The one area where Murata might be lacking in when compared to some of the other guys who've given Gennady some problems is that Murata isn't quite as speedy as those guys were. His hands aren't quite as quick, which for me, the big question becomes, is he quick enough to consistently trouble a 40-year-old Golovkin? That's the million-dollar question that remains to be seen, especially with Murata himself coming off of such a long period of inactivity, where this fight was originally supposed to happen late last year, but it's been pushed back because of COVID restrictions in Japan. This is a huge opportunity for Murata. And if you look at what Murata was able to do in his rematch against Brandt, and you also look at some of the success Derevianchenko was able to have in his fight with Golovkin, there are reasons for Murata to be optimistic, especially since Golovkin doesn't have the same gas tank and output he once had. No doubt Triple G will be extremely motivated for this one, because in theory at least, a potential third fight with Canelo hangs in the balance. Of course, that notion is predicated on the idea that Golovkin beats Murata, Canelo beats Bivol, and that no other unforeseen obstacles get in the way. And none of these three things is a given, which is why I personally do not like these types of scenarios where a big-time showdown has prerequisites that include multiple fight outcomes and other variables both known and unknown. I'm reminded of Baldomir raining on the parade of Floyd versus Judah, and also Danny Green devaluing the rematch between Roy and Bernard. Those fights still went ahead, but they definitely would have had more momentum had they just skipped the middleman round. Be that as it may, even with Golovkin highly motivated, and even with him taking Murata very seriously like the consummate professional he is, the simple fact of the matter is Golovkin is 40 years old. In the last 3+ years, Golovkin has only fought 3 times. And this was a guy who not too long ago was regularly fighting 3 times a year. But then on the other side, Murata has only fought twice in the last 3 years. And he will not have had a fight in almost 2.5 years. I have no doubt whatsoever that both of these guys will be highly motivated, and with where both of these guys are at the respective stage of their careers, I think we're going to be in for a fun and entertaining contest. I believe Murata might just pull it off and derail plans for Canelo GGG 3. With Golovkin's diminished speed and stamina that come with the territory of being a 40-year-old prize fighter, and Murata being powerful and strong with good ring smarts and a nice skill set, this is no give me for Golovkin. For my official prediction, however, even at 40 years of age, I still believe Golovkin has the superior boxing pedigree here, and I think that is what will ultimately become the story of the fight. But I don't think it will be easy, and it might perhaps even be considered a little controversial. But for my official prediction, I'm taking Gennady Golovkin in a clear but very close victory over the distance. But what the hell do I know? Whatever happens, I'm looking forward to it, and may the best man win on that night. April 9th, on the still relatively new streaming app service known as DAZN, Gennady Golovkin versus Ryota Murata in a middleweight unification championship showdown. Who do you think will win? Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed, and have a wonderful night. This is Rummy's Corner.